Okay, so we're getting ready for our charcoal reduction, sphere drawing, and value scales. We're doing 2 value scales. One is going to be a stepped value scale and one is going to be a smooth transition value scale. But first, let's talk about setting up the paper. Tape your paper down so it doesn't move on you. And then you're going to take your long measuring ruler and you're going to make a 10-inch opening. I'm going to use my charcoal pencil for this just to mark it off. So let's see here, if we want a 10-inch opening, mark it down at 3 inches to then 13 inches, and then make that line going down, and then mark this over here the same thing, 3 inches and then 13 inches, okay? And mark that off as well. Just mess that up. And then you can come along here and make mark that off. So we're basically just making a rectangle within our page. And then what we're going to do is take our tape, more tape, to protect the edges of our paper. And we're going to mark off the rectangle here. In this way, when we smear our our charcoal, our vine charcoal on here, it'll stay within the confines of this rectangle, which I didn't get enough tape. Okay, so now that that's laid out, I'm going to take more tape. I'm going to make 2 areas for my value scale. So, and I can't seem to get enough tape here. I'm going to mark off an area not too thick, not too wide. It's probably about 1.5 inches is what I have. That's going to be 1 value scale. And then this is going to be another value scale. Again, not too thick, not too thin. Probably about 1.5 inches. All right, one is going to be a stepped value scale. One's going to be a smooth transition. So let's talk about that. We'll take our ruler here, and what we'll do is we'll mark off the every 2 inches. So each spot will have 2 inches of space for shading. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we got 5. And then I'm just going to mark these guys off too. So, and I'm using my charcoal pencil for this because it'll stay on the paper. But we're not going to start our drawing with our charcoal pencils. We're going to start with our vine charcoal. Okay, so the next step is to then get your vine or willow charcoal out. It's usually a long stick like this. And then I had this attached to it. You can break off a piece so you get a smaller piece. And then you just kind of want to evenly go over the paper. I'm not putting it on its side. It'll disappear too quickly. So I'm just going back and forth. I'm not doing a zigzaggy scribble. I'm keeping it fairly even because I want to get an even tone to my paper, an even value. So ultimately what we're going to be doing is we're going to end up with like a mid-tone. And you'll notice it runs out pretty fast. But be careful because it is really fragile stuff, the vine charcoal. Another thing too is that it's quite dusty. So when you are laying it down, if you've got nice carpet, maybe get like a towel you don't care about or newsprint, lay that out underneath your drawing board so then when you go to smear, all the dust doesn't end up on your nice carpet or beautiful floors. You'll do the same thing here. Just give yourself a nice even value throughout. Another thing is before you start this process, don't put your hands all over the paper. The oil on your hands will close the pores of the paper and it'll make it harder for the paper to accept the charcoal. So now I'm going to take my paper towel here and I'm going to go in a circular formation. And maybe I'll pick up some of the dust as I go along and kind of work it back into the ground here. So what we're doing is we're creating a mid-tone for us to then draw our sphere. Okay. Try to get it as even as possible. Don't have any like excess marks, or make sure it's all very even in tonal range. A nice, just mid-tone. You want to make sure you get rid of all the zigzaggy marks that you made, and so really try to work it in there. Okay, so now that you've got everything set up, we'll start the value scales and we'll start the smooth transition, and then this is going to be where we draw our sphere. So here, even though I marked, so you can kind of see the stepped value scale here, that's from the charcoal pencil. It doesn't erase as easily, so that's why I marked it up with that. All right, your turn. You guys get set up and then we'll talk about the value scales next.